Thinking about turning my camera on. Thinking about it. Just thinking about it, that's all. Should I turn my camera on? I don't know, maybe I'll think about it for another second. I kind of like watching you guys squirm, I'll be honest. Okay, all right. Here I am. Hope everyone's having a great night so far. Sunday fun day. I literally just cleaned all day long. I have done nothing else. And then when I was cleaning, I kind of realized, you know what? I want to do a live stream. Probably because I was watching other people's fucking YouTube videos while I was cleaning, and I was starting to get FOMO about not actively being on YouTube. Hello, welcome. By the way, I do have... Oh, let me... Ooh, no, I need to start a new one. Okay, I'm starting a sub goal. Or a super chat goal, rather. Let me use the proper language for this platform. Q&A session. At the end of the stream is the reward. Kind of a low-key reward, you know? 'Cause, yeah. Yay! Welcome, welcome, welcome. Frank. Ace, hello. We got the bot plugging my podcast in the chat. Love that. Love to see that. Yeah, so, God, I really miss having background music. I'm actually legitimately too scared to do even royalty-free stream music in the background on YouTube because I feel like I'm much more likely to get dinged for nothing at all. So we'll just have to live our lives with, like, background silence. Oh my god. I have terrible stream etiquette, y'all. I can't stop eating ice, so... You know? Ooh, congrats, Safa. That's very exciting. Hell yeah. Time for a mint. Okay. So, here's what I want to start out with for my stream today. How about this? How about these apples? So let me just ask before I launch into this, who, if anyone in the chat, has watched the OnlyFans, the OFTV cooking show that I was on? There's 3 episodes that I'm in. The entire series is like 7 episodes, but I'm in 3. The final one just came out earlier this week. Slow to respond, chat. Okay. Well, let me actually give me a second. I didn't anticipate wanting to do it this way, but this just occurred to me, so we're gonna do it this way. I gotta pull up some links. Links. Okay. Damn, I really, You know what? Sure, that works. That works perfectly well. Yeah, that's right. That's what I thought. I have to move some files around my computer. I'm not going to make y'all watch the entire episodes, because honestly, if you want to watch the whole episodes, you should just go to the website and watch them. But I am going to play the trailers for the episodes that I'm in. Out of pure vanity. What else? Also, because it was a very, very fun show to go on. Like, I truly had a very fun time. And I'm very excited to share it. So, let's do that, shall we? Let's see. Give me a second, because I've got to arrange a bunch of fucking windows all over the place. Let's go to... We're not looking at that right now, unfortunately. I mean, maybe fortunately. He's just gonna disappear real quick. That was a preview of something else I'll be talking about later. Ooh. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Hello? There she is. All right. Oh my God, why is it so big? He's so big. He's the biggest. He's a giant. Let's make that a more normal size. Okay. And then, I do this every time. Every single fucking time I stream. I spend all this time setting my shit up, get all proud of myself, like, wow, I really did a good job of setting things up ahead of time, and then end up doing something where I have to just sit here live on stream and, like, rearrange fucking windows for 20 minutes anyway. So, thanks for your patience. Why can I not? Bitch, why? That's not what I'm selecting at all. For the record, y'all. Wow. You know what? I don't even know how I did that. This is the first stream since Corn Telethon. You are correct. I really needed a mental break for a minute there. I don't know what I just did. Is there a... I didn't think that... Yeah, it's not... For some reason, I all of a sudden cannot move my face. My, like, webcam overlay is just not... It won't... I can't edit it now. Like, it won't move. I can't scoot it or change the size or anything. All of a sudden. I don't know what I did. It's not locked in place. Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to... Once again, we're going to hide that information source, because that's not the one that we want. We're going to go to this other one. And there we go. That's what we want. Just got to put... the webcam up there. So much better. Okay. Much better. Far better. Okay, now it's doing the same thing. I actually think that it's my Streamlabs is frozen, I think, is actually what's going on with that. That sucks ass. That's incredibly annoying. I cannot resize any windows in Streamlabs. I don't know how to fix that. Except to just like relaunch the whole fucking program. I don't know. Sure. These assholes. Oh my god. Well, I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. Ew. Okay, there we go. Oh god, I had to do it manually. I had to type in the resolution I wanted instead of just stretching it. That's crazy. Actually, it took so much less time than it would have taken me to stretch it, so maybe I should just make that my default method. I have never shot a scene with Ricky, unfortunately. It's kind of nuts. I mean, I'd like to. Maybe we'll make it happen, you know? All right, let's watch this trailer. This is the first episode that I was in. The way that this show works, it's like bracket style competitions. So they start out with 8 contestants and they pair each of us off. So my first battle was with Ricky. And then obviously, so there's essentially just 3 brackets. And I look, not to dole out a spoiler, but the last episode did come out several days ago. So if you haven't watched any of it by now, spoiler alert, I won the whole thing. I was the best hoe in the kitchen, okay? I won the whole thing because I cook better than anyone, especially better than Brandy Love. We'll get around to that. So here's the trailer for the first episode. Are you guys getting the sound? No sound. Because of course I forgot to fucking add the sound. Jesus Christ. I thought I had this covered. God damn it. But of course. What is the sound? Desktop audio. Okay, I just needed to add that into my, because I was using a different scene than the one that I had prepared. Love it, love it. Love that for me. Give me 1 second. This will not take long. Desktop audio. Boom. Here we go. Let's start this thing over with sound.
I'm Siri doll. I kind of feel like I know what I'm doing. I hope.
My name is Ricky Johnson. I'm gonna learn something and I'm gonna try to scratch out a W.
Today, we are cooking poutine fries.
How hard could it be?
Hey Siri.
Yes?
What do you plan on doing next?
You just want to copy me once you see what I'm doing.
Don't forget, you guys gotta grab a plate, you gotta garnish.
News to me.
I have no idea what to do with these cheese curds.
Chef Ricky, what are you doing?
I'm ahead of you. Just so you know.
I need to get this done immediately.
Proud of both of you, but only one can move on, and I think I've made my decision.
Siri's dish surprisingly had a couple issues. I think I have a really good chance.
I have no idea what chef's gonna decide.
What could it be? We already know, because I already gave away the spoiler. I won. So I won that one against Ricky, which honestly, so funny thing, BTS info, when we first, because they don't tell you in advance, like, who you're competing against that day. I mean, yeah, like, if you happen to see them on set or something, because you get there at the same time, then that ruins the surprise. But otherwise, like, you don't know who you're competing against until, like, right before they start the cook-off. And so, yeah, I didn't know that it was going to be him. And then when he showed up on set, it was, like, right when we, like, started filming the, like, you know, they film all the intro stuff, like, right before they do the actual cooking segment. And the first thing that he said to me, because we know each other, we've never worked together professionally, but like we see each other at events and stuff, so we've known each other for a minute. And the first thing he did was like came up to me and said hi, gave me a big hug, And then he was like, congratulations. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? Like, we haven't even done the thing yet. And he goes, yeah, but you're going to win. Like, I don't know what I'm doing in the kitchen. So like, you're definitely going to win. Congrats. Which I thought was adorable. And he wasn't wrong. I did win. So there's that. The episode's really funny. He makes a real mess out of his cheese curds that he cooks for his poutine. Respectfully, a real mess out of them. All right, I got another. Where's the next one now? QuickTime player. But how could it be this many that I need? Oh my god. Interesting. Oh. Y'all, I need mental help, honestly. The way that I am incapable of... Okay, it's not me, though. QuickTime is just a piece of shit. That's just actually what's going on here. That's irritating. Why am I even using QuickTime? There's other things I could be using for this. Gotta make a whole ass new capture window just for each trailer I put on the screen. Ridiculous. Gotta manually transform it. Oh well. It's fine. Alright. Yeah, I should use VLC. I have it, you know. Just haven't it's not my default. And honestly, it probably should be. Because QuickTime fucks things up all the time. Cameron, no, we had no idea what we were cooking at all. And it's also only 30 minutes on the clock, so it's like, it's pretty fucking challenging. I will say the Chef Jojo, who's the guy in all the trailers, and he judges us and stuff, he's there the whole time. And he gives you tips, like, he's pretty, especially, it gets harder as you go. But like in the first one where we did the poutine, he was giving us a lot of tips. He was generous with the tips, for sure. So it's not like, it is a reality show that's made for, by OnlyFans. They only cast people who are OnlyFans creators in the show. So the ultimate goal of the show is to glorify OnlyFans creators and make them look good. Or at least, you know, entertaining, if for those who like, you know, bomb out of the cooking show. So it's competitive, but obviously it's a little bit of a different tone than a typical, it's not like Top Chef kind of competitive. Because none of us are actual chefs who have like careers on the line writing on how well we can fucking cook food on this show. But that being said, it is competitive. Like, it was hard, and I know my way around a kitchen, but I was challenged by it, and I had a lot of fun. Anyway, all right, let's watch this trailer for the second episode. This is bracket 2. I won against Ricky Johnson, so then my next person I had to cook off against was Amanda Nicole. She's big. She's big on I mean, who is she? She is a content creator. I mean, she has like 2 million followers on Instagram. So I would have assumed that all of y'all had heard of her. Here we go.
I'm ready for round 2, and I'm ready to knock this next contestant out.
I am really riding high and seriously in this to win it.
We are cooking pork chops, But I must see 3 of these items on the plate.
I'm very worried because there's so many more components.
Here, I got this little one.
She's crumbling under the pressure.
Try a piece.
Oh my. How much rhubarb is too much? How'd this work?
Is this in Celsius? I don't know Celsius. This is America.
This is one of the most difficult decisions.
I thought it was very beautiful on the plate. I might be able to win this.
I'm really feeling the pressure now. I hope I did enough.
Cute. Cute, cute. Okay. So that was episode 2, and I won. Are you seeing a trend here? The fact that I get to go to the next episode is again because I won. I'm gonna be such a little shit about this for the rest of my life. All right. But here's the real fun. This is the one that I'm really wanting to make y'all watch, okay? Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead. While I'm going to have to set this shit up again anyway, I am going to use VLC this time. Fuck QuickTime. QuickTime can suck it. Okay. VLC source. Oh hell yeah. Wait. I don't know. Is this gonna work? Oh, yeah. No, that I don't like that. I don't like doing it that way. Sorry, y'all. Talking to myself. Well, once again, setting up a fucking capture. It's just crazy that it like won't do what I want. Okay. Once again, must manually resize the whole thing. Ridiculous. Okay. I would not ever cosplay as Firecracker. Why would I want to cosplay as a piece of shit? I haven't finished season 4 yet, but like, no, not happening. Queen Maeve, yeah, maybe. She's gay. I'm gonna do it. Okay, here we go. Final trailer for the final episode.
Beware, I'm coming for you.
This season brings a new look with new challenges. Freeze, Chef. You got this. You got this. 8 OnlyFans creators will go.
Sorry. That's the wrong video. That's the one for the whole season, not just the last episode. Whoopsie daisy. Let me grab the file that I thought that I had that I was wrong about. Funny stuff. Okay, here it is. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably already seen this. Okay. Here we go.
I'm gonna show my competition what I'm capable of.
My competition better look out. She should be worried.
8 chefs stepped into this kitchen.
Look at my hand is shaking.
I'm trying to figure out how to get in Siri's head.
So you want those?
Brandy.
Only 2 remain a cut above the rest. Who will walk away with the grand prize of $20,000? Are you guys ready to find out who won?
It was me. That one. Yeah, so Safa asked is Brandy Love a nice person? She was very kind to me. Yeah, it was a very fun day on set. She was very, very kind to me, but I would expect her to be kind to me because I am a white person. Also, she didn't know who I was. Like she genuinely like was like, "What's your name?" and like shook my hand when I first got to set. So I really don't know if she would have been as polite to me. I mean, she probably would have been polite regardless. She definitely gives me the vibe of someone who's like polite to your face, and then if they don't like you, they'll talk mean like a lot of shit behind your back. Don't we all? You know, I'm kind of the same way. Like I'll be cordial to someone. I'm not trying to like get into fistfights in public if I disagree with someone about everything they stand for, which I do in the case of Brandy Love. But yeah, no, I just genuinely was like, because she's like the only person I stay away from drama 100%, and she's like the one of the only people in my industry who I have ever said anything about, like salty about publicly. And it hasn't happened a lot, but you know, there's been a couple times that I've been like, fuck Brandy Love, like on Twitter, over the last 2-3 years. So, but yeah, we'd never met before this day that we shot the competition. And, yeah, she just genuinely didn't know who it was. And I was like, cool, sweet. That works out for me. Great. I'm sure. Because if she did know, then if she had known who I was, then I assume she would also know that I don't support her. That being said, no, she was perfectly polite, perfectly cordial. We had a very fun day on set. Honestly, I mean, I kind of do hate to say it because it was fun. It was like we had a fun time on set. We didn't really ever have a moment alone together. We were on set all day, surrounded by, you know, a crew of like literally 100 almost people. So it was in a very controlled environment. But yeah, we made almost the same meal. I just did it better than her, and I won fair and square, and I cooked my steak better. The chef said he wanted it. He told us the temperature he wanted it to be pulled off the grill at. Like, he gave us that's like the secret code, right? Especially when you're preparing any kind of protein, it's like, what temperature should it get to? You don't want to under or overcook it. He specifically told us the temperature to pull it off the grill. And I pulled mine off the grill at that temperature. And she went like 10 degrees above that temperature. So I think that's a really big part of why I won and she did not. But also I made a sauce and she didn't make a sauce. And my sauce I thought it was great. I think the chef thought it was fine. His only comment really about it was that it was sweet, which it was. It was a little sweeter than I wanted it to be, but it was good. Would I film with her professionally? No. I particularly do not fuck with MAGA people at all. I don't. As soon as I know, and look, there's some people in the adult industry who are like, oh, I'm apolitical. I don't want to talk about it. And if that's fine. I'm not going to hate on someone for that. I still think that that's usually code for them being a Trumper more often than not. But sometimes, no, it is a fairly popular stance to have among people in the industry. Just sorry guys, I'm kind of like burpy, so if I'm doing like a thing, it's because I'm probably burping and just pulling away from the mic. My Coke Zero is coming back to haunt me. But yeah, some people have mixed fan bases and they don't ever want to talk about politics openly because they don't want to alienate any one part of their fan base. I am obviously not like that. I am the opposite of that. In my opinion, like if if I say something that makes someone feel alienated because they really love Trump, then good. Good. I don't want your money, legitimately. Like, I don't want your support. I don't care if you watch my work. And I don't want your money. So, like, sure, feel alienated. Be my guest. But I'm one of fairly few people in the industry who operate that way. So yeah, if that answers your question, basically anyone in the industry who's come out fully in support of Trump, of the current version of the Republican Party and their policies and such, is on my no list. I don't work with those people. I don't want them to have the opportunity to engage in any kind of intimate contact with me. I don't want to share my body with someone that's filled with, I can only assume, filled with hate, because why the fuck else would you publicly support that person? Like, literally, why else at this point? Like, knowing what we know now, there's no other explanation in my mind. Yeah, and I don't want, especially when it comes to like MAGA men in the industry, which a lot of guys are just very quiet, or they're like himbos. They don't understand politics. They're just like, which fine, you know, you should probably read a book if that's where you lie, but I kind of get it, I guess. They don't want to talk about it because they don't feel like they're too educated about it, and they don't want to misspeak. But same for the guys in the industry. If they're a outright supporter of Trump, a proud MAGA dude, then I will not work with them. They're on my no list. And not only that, I feel like that's especially diabolical of them, because it's like you work in an industry that, like, literally, if it were up to the Republicans, would not exist. Would not exist. Like, you would not have a job if the politicians you seem to love so much got their way. You'd actually be in jail. That's what Project 2025 says. It says that it wants to put all pornographers in jail. Nuts. Nuts, 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 nuts. These people are nuts. Compulsory voting? You know, that seems funny. That seems like a real pipe dream. Like, would I be in favor of it? I think theoretically, yes. But that's never gonna happen. Like, this country is obsessed with getting the fewest people to vote possible. They would never make it compulsory. That's the whole way that the Republican Party, the GOP, has maintained power and you know, not completely self-imploded at this point, is because they can't stop gerrymandering and, like, trying to disenfranchise as many marginalized people as possible. They don't want anyone to vote. They've come out and said it at this point. Like, the Republicans want a monarchy, essentially. And Democrats are not much better. Honestly, yeah, compulsory voting is not a realistic thing, I think, to ever expect. Not within my lifetime in this country. I think in the aftermath, like, look, assuming that we have another election ever again in this country, because I genuinely, I'm not even trying to be alarmist when I say, like, I think it's a big if we have another election again in this country, specifically, like, you know, and I mean, like, a real election, like an actual democratic election that follows the prescribed in the Constitution process of how elections are supposed to work in this country. If we ever have another one of those ever again, that'll be great, first of all. And second of all, I think like if we have another election, I think that will, and it is in fact a fair one that follows a constitutionally what's the word? I don't know what word I'm looking for. Constitutionally approved of election, then I think it'll like I fully do feel confident that like there's only a couple paths here. It's like we're either gonna like have more and more like incredible destruction of like we don't even have a democracy anymore currently in the US. Like we don't have one really right now functionally. So I guess it depends on like how successfully the party that's in power is able to suppress votes and like free and fair elections in the coming years, like in the midterms and then in the next presidential election. And if we make it through and we actually do have a change of power in the next presidential election, then I think I think things will swing quite a bit to the left. I mean, we're already starting to see that in polls. Like I think only 8% of Americans polled actually support Israel. Like the vast majority of Americans are like, hey, can we stop giving them money? There's a lot of things that a lot of people agree on, and I really think that if we make it through this horrible shit show, things will swing pretty firmly into the left. And it's like, this kind of brings me to one of the things that I wanted to talk about on the stream today, which is like the absolutely horrifying, if you haven't heard about it yet, presidential memorandum that Trump just put out 3 days ago on September 25th. It's genuinely terrifying. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe that's another option is like the U.S. essentially becoming two countries, and I think it would be unlikely that it would like actually happen in a really like official way. But there is the I've been hearing a lot of talk of I forget. Whoa, my monitor's just crapping out. Whoa, no, no. That's got to be the power, right? That's got to be the power cable. No, that's so scary. Hold on, y'all. I have a mess of cables over here that I'm trying to deal with right now. I want to make sure I don't unplug the webcam because I have my external monitor just started acting really crazy. Oh my God, I hope that... No! That's the most disappointing motherfucking thing ever. This is like a $2,000 fucking monitor. Are you kidding me? I've had it for a minute, but still. Maybe it's just the cable. I don't know. I'm so sad. I really need that when I stream. I don't have enough space on my little 15-inch laptop. I don't know if you can actually see it, but it's... ball sack. Well, I'm just gonna turn the brightness way down because I'm not gonna not use it, even though it hurts my eyeballs to look at it. It's just flickering like crazy, and I can actually see lines appearing in it. So it's not dead. It's just like something is obviously fucked up. The warranty is, I'm sure, expired. I mean, I've had the monitor for multiple years. It's just, it's a really, really fancy LG monitor. RIP. I know it wouldn't be a me stream without some horrible technical issues. Womp womp. Let me switch back to my Browser source. Google Chrome. Oh, I didn't realize Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, here we go, y'all. Okay. This is the bullshit I be talking about. God, it's so diabolical. I hate it so much. Ugh. This is the presidential memorandum as of the 25th. The most horrifying shit I can imagine. Oh yeah, I forgot. Why is none of my shit wants to work? This is crazy. Goofy. Whatever. I found a way around it. I'm just gonna live my life. John, thank you for the super chat. By the way, y'all, I have a goal for 10 total super chats. A goal which ends in 20 minutes. Eric Tiffany, oh no. Be careful what you say, they're listening. All right, y'all. So first of all, who has heard of this? Has anyone actually seen news about this yet? Because it's nuts. Okay, this is the example of like the way that we are living in fascism. In case anyone had any motherfucking doubts. I don't know how you could at this point, but just in case. Ooh. Ooh. So this is a presidential memorandum. That word, I sound so Minnesotan when I say it. They're calling it NSPM 7 because it's National Security Presidential Memorandum 7. Came out 3 days ago on the 25th. And this is subject: countering domestic terrorism and organized political violence. This was the day after the shooting at the ICE facility, which, as we now know, the people who were killed and hurt were detainees, not ICE agents. So we're starting off, as one would only expect, with a very strong reactionary vibe. Of course. What else? Oh, thank you, Nola, for gifting 5 memberships to the community. We appreciate that so much. All you guys who just got your beautiful gift memberships, enjoy your new badges. You get a member badge. You can see Ace Betrayer has a badge. Safa has a badge. And it's a coffee cup that over time, the longer you're a member, a black cat will start to crawl out of the coffee cup. Which is something that happens every day in my house. I don't know about you. Okay, so it starts by going on, blah, 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 blah. He just goes on and on about domestic terrorism. Okay, so this is the crazy thing. He's basically using this memorandum. And by the way, let me just high level describe what the goal of this thing is. It's not even a piece of legislation. You can't even call it that. He's essentially, this is like a little love letter to law enforcement across the US at like local, state levels, etc. Just saying like, hey, you guys have my full permission, not just my permission, but my explicit request to monitor, surveil, and detain or whatever people who are doing things that in this memorandum I describe as domestic terrorism. And so that's terrifying. One, that's like absolutely horrifying. Because most of what he's defining in this memorandum as things that would be, material support for domestic terrorism are just completely normal parts of free speech in a democratic society. And what have we been saying? Plenty of people in my industry have been saying for years, a couple years now, that they're going to take away the right to free speech. They don't want, literally, Republicans don't want the First Amendment. You have to remember, when it comes to Republicans, every accusation is a confession. So when the last couple years they've been saying, you can't say anything anymore, what happened to free speech? I'm tired of this cancel culture. What they're essentially saying is really an admission that, I don't want anyone else to be able to say anything anymore. I want to cancel whoever I want for their speech. And here it comes, because it's officially fucking happening. I mean, it's been happening, but this is nuts. Because the thing about this memorandum is, it sends this message to local and state level law enforcement all across the country, which we know tend to be conservative people, who, probably most of them really love having an excuse from the president himself to, do whatever the fuck they want in terms of surveillance and detaining people for pre-crime thought. This is literally Minority Report. It's so fucking bleak. Here's the list of common threads animating this violent conduct include, this is a list of things that police can now surveil people for as a means of national security. Anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, anti-Christianity, support for the overthrow of the United States government, extremism on migration, race, and gender, and hostility toward those who hold traditional American views on family, religion, and morality. Of course, they gotta mention Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin engraved bullets with so-called anti-fascist rhetoric, which isn't even true. I'm so tired. Okay, so there's now the National Joint Terrorism Task Force and its local offices shall coordinate National Joint Terrorism Task Force and its local offices, which is also relevant to the FBI. Essentially, there's representation of the JTTFs. I hate all the acronyms. Most FBI field offices have someone who does some kind of work in relation to the National Joint Terrorism Task Force. And there's an FBI field office at, I believe there's one in every state. I know that there's over 50 in the country, so there's a good amount. So anyway, the task force shall coordinate and supervise a comprehensive national strategy to investigate, prosecute, and disrupt entities and individuals engaged in acts of political violence. And when they say to be clear, in this memorandum, when Trump says political violence, he means speech. He literally, as defined in this previous section up here, he is saying political violence includes speech that is anti-American, anti-capitalist, anti-Christianity, supports the overthrow of the government, or expresses a view of whatever Trump thinks is extremist on migration, race, and gender. So literally, this is basically saying that if you are a transgender or queer person who exists openly, now you can be surveilled and potentially arrested for anti-American domestic terrorism aligned activities. So I'm expecting to knock on my door because I'm the most un-American person. I apparently, according to this. my white Minnesota born and raised, corn-fed, thick ass Lutheran family no one should be coming to the US anytime soon. Stay the fuck away, y'all. Would you have traveled to Germany in 1934? No. Don't come here. It's terrible. Don't come here. If you want to come to America, but like, I mean, obviously you don't want to. A nice halfway point could be like, you know, go to Toronto, or go to Vancouver, and maybe just like approach the US border and like tell them like, gee, I really wish I could visit that country on the other side of this little here Customs and Border Patrol checkpoint, but I don't want to support the Fourth Reich, so I guess I'll just turn around and go back to my vacation in Canada. And maybe just add in, like, so sad that I had, you know, I was ready to spend my 10,000 tourist dollars in the US. Guess I'll have to spend it here in Canada. Superman is from Kansas, but close. Well, yeah, when it comes to several issues, I mean, we wouldn't have been any better off under Kamala. But, I mean, for sure, I mean, things would be less bad. I think that our democracy wouldn't be in shambles within 250 days had Kamala won the election. Born in downtown Minneapolis. Congrats. I haven't been back to Minnesota in way too long. I really miss it. It makes me so sad that, I mean, I moved away when I was 12, so, you know. Oh, you know. Oofda. But I do consider myself a Minnesotan. Minnesotan for life. I'm trying to get on this. So I'm enjoying making podcast appearances on other podcasts lately. I've done a couple. I went on Love It or Leave It. If you listen to any of the Pod Save America world of podcasts, I went on Love It or Leave It last month. That was a great experience, honestly. Like, it was very fun, and they filmed that in front of a live audience at like a big venue in Los Angeles. And one of the things that was so cool about that appearance was John Lovett, the host of the podcast. He is like multiple people who work on his staff. Because I got there like an hour, before I actually went out on stage. And so I was in the green room for a while. And while I was in the green room just chilling out, they have a monitor where you can like watch the show while you're back there. And no less than 3 separate people who work on his staff for the show came in the back and like introduced themselves, said hi, like told me a little bit about like their part of the show or like something about, information that I might need. But every one of them also made sure to mention, like, by the way, John is very prude. So when you go out, because you're going to be talking about the corn industry and censorship, you're probably likely to see him be visibly uncomfortable. And like, but don't worry, you hit your own talking points. We already know, like, we know what you're going to talk about, because I had filled out like basically a statement beforehand. So they knew what I wanted to discuss. And so they were like, don't worry about it. Like, he's going to be uncomfortable. It's fine. In fact, like, make him even more uncomfortable on purpose. Like, have fun with it. Make him squirm. And I really didn't do that. I didn't lean into that because I didn't even need to. He was already so uncomfortable just talking about it at all. But so it was a very interesting thing to do, because most of the people, like, I don't know if you're not someone who listens to Pod Save America, I would say like Love It is probably the most left-leaning out of them, but they're pretty like status quo Democrats, I would say. Like the hosts of the show Pod Save America itself, like 2 of the guys were speechwriters for Obama. They're pretty like hardcore Democrat Party folks. And Love It, well, he's gay, his partner's trans, so like he's a little more like left of center, I would say, but clearly still, in the sense of like uncomfortable with discussing the corn industry, even though he obviously knows that it exists and he obviously looks at it, because who doesn't from time to time. But the funnest part for me of the whole experience was the audience feedback, because it was a completely packed house. There was like, I think that it's not a huge venue, but I'm pretty sure it's like probably seats like about 200 people. I would 250-ish. And every seat, as far as I could tell, had a butt in it. And so it was a really engaged audience. And I don't often get to do things in front of an actual live audience. So, but there were so many talking points that I hit when I was discussing. I mean, the only issue I really talked about when I went on this show was age verification laws and why they're harmful and why they don't work. And like, it's bad that they keep getting passed, and it's bad that there's so much bipartisan support for them. And like, particularly Democrats need to be more critical about these kinds of laws when they are introduced, because they're just unconstitutional surveillance laws disguised as save the children bullshit. And not enough people are aware of that or talking about it. And so that's kind of just overall what I brought up in my segment. And I could hear audibly so many people in the audience in this place gasping, because I could physically hear people's little light bulbs going off in their head in the audience, that they had never thought of things this, like, a lot of people genuinely, I could tell, were like, went into this probably having the opinion that many, many Democrats do, that like, oh, age verification laws protect the kids, good, sounds good to me. And there's no critical thought behind it, because, well, if you trust your politicians, why would there be, when so many Democratic politicians are supporting these laws? But things are not what they seem sometimes, increasingly so lately. So it was just very cool to be able to actually see and hear people's minds opening up to the idea of like, oh, there is another very different and meaningfully different perspective here that I haven't been exposed to yet. And it made me very happy that I got the opportunity to go on that podcast. And I hope to keep doing stuff like that. Like, I don't make money doing that. I don't. Like, I barely make money doing this, even, like a YouTube stream. Y'all. I think I got the biggest payout I've ever gotten from YouTube recently, and it was like, because I didn't even hit the payout minimum for months, so officially made the biggest payout I ever got from YouTube monetization last month, and it was $400. Which, fine. I'm not doing this specific thing for the money. That being said, it's totally cool when people want to support it with money, such as super chats, for which I have 2 minutes left in the goal for my super chat goal. Yeah, everyone is age verification pilled. I'm telling you. Like, every major Western, like, English-speaking country is doing a version of an age verification law. They're all just jumping on the bandwagon. Like, here's the other thing that isn't really discussed enough. There's a lot of money in it. The companies that are doing the age verification service, like the software as a service of age verification, these are venture capital funded companies that start out having billions of dollars. And then they can sell this software to all platforms to integrate with to do age verification. They're usually AI based. So, which means, you know, shitty, ineffective. Because most of them are using AI to try to guess what your age is based on your physical appearance. Which, there's a lot of room for error in that, but also it is like, specifically it is a problem when you have someone who's like, let's take the example of someone who just turned 18 and they want to go to an adult site, which is their legal right to do as an 18-year-old. And they have to go through the facial scan thing for age verification in order to gain access to that site. Please tell me how the AI is going to know that if it's 12:01 a.m. on your 18th birthday, do you now look 18 in a way that you didn't 15 minutes ago? Like, what? It's completely psychotic. It's stupid, and it's such a blatant, like, thinly veiled excuse for just surveillance and more unconstitutional. Like, it violates the 14th Amendment gathering of data, of people's private, personal data being gathered willy-nilly by tech companies and then being used however the fuck they want because the U.S. still refuses to regulate any of this stuff. It's sickening. It makes me so mad. Suspect. Thank you so much. We got a good super chat. Thank you so much for your $20. Well, technically $19.99, but you know what? The 1 penny, I'll round it up. Thank you, Suspect, for your super chat. I really appreciate it. Just helping with the goal. And you did. You helped so much with the goal. I also think that AI is a scam. I mean, it is. Like, in most cases, it, like, literally just straight up is. But I think it's a grift on the level of, like, they can't run away from it. So there's a podcast that I listen to pretty frequently called Better Offline. And if you are like an extremely online person like me and you haven't heard of it, you should really check it out because it's very good. But the host is this guy named Ed Zitron. And he is a tech reporter. And he goes on these like long rants about how much he hates AI on a regular basis, but I tend to agree with his opinion and what he's been saying for a while now about AI, which is that it's a bubble that's going to pop. In the same way that, like, you know, the .com bubble in like 2000 popped, that all these AI companies, they're crazy overvalued. Like, they're valued for the idea of what they could possibly one day achieve. They're not valued for what they actually are currently capable of. And also, it's just like, look at all the CEOs. Look at, like, Sam Altman, like, CEOs of AI companies. They're just a bunch of, like, fucking fail-son dorks. They are. It's so funny to me, but also it's like tragic in a way that, like, I gotta laugh so I don't cry, but also I'm still annoyed and upset because it's just bleak. Because, like, all this shit is happening while people are really suffering all over the world. In Gaza. Plenty of folks here in the U.S. are suffering. Like, there's a massive affordability crisis in, like, every segment of life in America. And you have these dipshits funneling like hundreds of millions of dollars, hundreds of billions actually, into AI. And it's, I swear to God, it's not going to do any of the shit that they keep trying to convince us it's going to do. It'll just keep making like weird sycophantic cults where people like their one and only friend becomes their chat GPT that they talk to all day. And then they like, you know, either start a cult or join a cult or, you know, unalive themselves because of it. And I think that's probably the most that it'll ever achieve, sadly. That and like replacing some jobs. Literally, it is a nothing burger. Yeah. Speaking, actually, on the subject of AI, I do want to talk about something that I thought was, I'm curious to hear some input from y'all, from the fans, about this exchange that I had, okay? I gotta get a new browser window connected so you can see what I'm looking at. Oop. I don't want to show you that yet. That was too soon. Where did that go? Oh, there we go. If anyone actually saw my like blank Google like starter page, you can see the most embarrassing thing that I searched for earlier today. Reddit brow lamination, accidentally used the setting lotion first. What do I do? I don't know. Most of y'all I know are guys, so probably the vast majority of you don't know what the fuck a brow lamination is. It's essentially you perm your eyebrows so they grow in like so they like lay in one direction. I do this to myself. I do it at home, and I fucked it up. I was doing it early this morning, and I fucked it up. I put the neutralizing stuff on before the actual perm stuff, and I had to Google if that was like a deal breaker. If I was like, oh no, if I like go ahead and do the whole thing like normal, am I gonna burn my eyebrows off my face? I was very concerned. I deliberated over it for about 2 hours, and then I went ahead and did the whole thing like normal, and my eyebrows are fine. Okay. But really, I am pulling up the browser window again. Wait, much? Okay. This should work. This should work. Here we go. She's working now. She's working. So I made this reel and posted it a couple days ago on Instagram. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably have seen it. I made it because I wanted to... I'd been thinking about making a post about this for a while just because I see it a lot and it pisses me off. But there is this... Actually, let me just go ahead and do the spiel that I did in the reel. But basically, there is a platform that's like a competitor to OF that is the same kind of subscription-based spicy site. It's called FanVue, spelled FANVUE. And this website not only allows AI, like 100% generative AI content creators to make accounts and sell content on there, but they encourage it. Like the website's actual marketing language is entirely based on like, we're the future of content creation. So this website is not just allowing AI content, but they specifically are catering to that as a market in a way to try to compete with OF and real human models. who do the kind of work that I do. And I take issue with that for multiple reasons. I mean, let's start with the fact that the majority of fans, and the reason I brought this up and made an Instagram reel about it is because I'm increasingly in my own algorithm getting recommended models who are AI. They're not real people. It's one thing if a creator who's already has a following and, has a brand and has already been making content for an amount of time decides that they want to do generative AI content of themselves. I personally wouldn't. I personally disagree with it. But there are people in my industry who are using that tool to supplement their content creation, And I will say as a side note that I think that probably the best case scenario of someone using that is I can see in a time when, if you're a content creator full time and you really need to be physically abled and such to be able to make content and make a living, then yeah, if you got in a car accident or you had to have you had a major health issue or you had a surgery where you couldn't physically work or your appearance was really compromised for an extended period of time, that's when I can see the generative AI being actually a meaningfully useful tool that actually in that case, it's one of the few cases I can even think of it where it's oh, that's helping someone. But that being said, even if that was the case, if it were me and I were in a position where I did that, I would still tell my fans, I'd be like, hey, I got in a car accident. I can't shoot anything for X amount of months. So I'm generating some stuff. Please keep supporting me. That kind of thing. But that's not what these are. That is not what is happening here. What I'm talking about is I'm getting fully generated AI fake people models that are, obviously they're also being generated using data sets that are stolen content from actual OF models. What did Streamlabs get you for? View deleted message. AI. What? I think it got you for the word crazy? Sorry about that. I swear to God, I really lightened up because the Streamlabs mod is kind of nuts. So the word crazy apparently is I'll have to add that to a whitelist, I guess. Sorry about that. But yeah, I'm just haunted by the idea that there's these fully AI models, and a lot of them that have come across my feed on Instagram, they already have thousands and thousands, some of them hundreds of thousands of followers. And I can tell because when I come across one of these fake creators, I will go in and look at the content they're posting. I will look at the comments on the content, and it's very, very evident from the interactions that they have with followers that people who are following these accounts, and ostensibly therefore also the people who are clicking on the bio link and subscribing to their paid platforms, have no idea. They are not putting together that these aren't real people. And so it's just, this is full on fraud. This is completely fraudulent. And not only that, but it's it's cheapening the fact that what I do and what so many other people in my industry do and have been doing for decades is real work. It's a job. It's real labor. And also, I don't remember where I read this because there was a report done about, it was 404 Media. One of the guys from 404 Media was talking about this on a podcast recently, and he actually was talking to some of the people who have created these AI characters for spicy platforms like FanView, and it's men. It's literally random men who frankly are just they see dollar signs and they're jealous of the fact that women can make money doing OF content, and so they're just I'm just gonna make a fake girl in AI and sell fake AI content of my fake girl that I made to a bunch of dudes online. And then they're like using AI to like sex with guys in the chat who think that the model's a real person. I think there's always going to be the couple odd ducks who, like, for them interacting with a bot in a, intimate manner is like a fetish for them. Like, that's specifically what they're into about it, is the fact that it's not really a human. And so, you know what? For those people, it's like, fine. Go, you do you, buddy. I couldn't care less. I know for a fact that is not the majority of people at all. And so that's why I'm like, no, this is full on fraudulent. This is fraudulent. And it's trash. And I don't like it. Also, why can I not see more of my comments on this post? Hello? Give me all my comments, Instagram. There we go. Ugh. Okay, so... Oh, come on. Wow, their interface on desktop is so sad. It's literally the worst. I was trying to read y'all in a comments exchange that I had with an actual guy on here. And normally it's like appears to the top, but apparently on desktop, no, it doesn't. Because Instagram on the desktop is the worst trash. Oh my god. Do you see how I can't like scroll for 1 second without accidentally mousing over some crazy shit that I didn't want to look at? Oh my god. Hold on. Let me just change the size of the actual... Nope, that made it worse. At this point, I'm actually wishing I had less comments on this post so I could find this. Here he is, this guy. He thought he was really smart and calling me out by saying, yeah, well, when I DM you, I get an AI chatbot on your verified page, which, like, you're on my verified page right now. Why are you saying it, like, as though the verified page is different from this one? Because you're on it. But whatever. I don't know. I get really nitpicky. I don't understand why certain people make grammatical decisions, and I have to remind myself constantly that, like, a lot of people don't understand how to write or read, even if they're a native English speaker, which he clearly is. I got really salty with him immediately. I had to, I jump immediately into all caps. Maybe slightly regret that, because I feel like anytime I come back at someone with an all caps response, they probably tune out because I'm yelling at them on the internet. But I'm sorry. Like, this just rubbed me so much in the wrong way that he's like giving me shit about having the AI. So let me describe what he's talking about. So any one of y'all, if you follow me on Instagram right now, you can DM me. You can hit the DM button. You can send a message to me on Instagram. And me, the person, I will not see it. What you will get is a response that the first thing it does is it'll pop up and it'll say, Siri has AI responses enabled. And it actually says, like, do you want to turn them off? I think it should ask if it might not ask if you want to turn them off if you're someone I don't follow back, because like the way I have it set up, the AI bot doesn't apply to accounts that we follow each other mutually, which is obviously not the majority of people who follow me on Instagram. So be careful with typing all caps into the chat on YouTube. True, like the mod bot will get mad at you and or put you in timeout. Be careful. I have it set to a more lenient setting for that, but it still has a setting for it. So if you type a whole sentence in all caps, you might just get timed out. So yeah. So this guy's like, "Oh, well, yeah, you have an AI bot." And I'm like, that's literally different. I didn't come into this, I didn't make this little reel talking about how like all AI is terrible and evil. I do think most of it is. But I've already explained, I think that there are some scenarios where it can be applicable and not terrible. And even in those best case scenarios, I still will acknowledge, like, I don't love it because all AI is still not, it's still a drain on resources unnecessarily. It's still bad for the environment. Like, I don't really like the idea of it being super normalized. But that being said, yes, I did make the, for me, slightly complicated ethical decision to enable the AI response bot for my Instagram DMs. And I did this specifically because before that feature was even offered on the website, I just didn't ever see my DMs. Because I have too many, I cannot have open DMs on Instagram. It would be insane to do that. And you can ask anyone who even has more than like 10,000 followers would probably tell you the same. There's a certain critical mass where you have a large enough following that to just have your DMs open and unfiltered is just like shooting yourself in both feet every day, multiple times a day. It's insanity and no one wants that. It's not good for anyone's mental health. So, yeah, because for a long time, it's like, do I wish that I could be interactive with all my fans in a very authentic way? For sure. But it's just, I'm one human being, and it is not realistic for anyone to expect that of me, and it's not realistic for me to expect that of myself when interacting with my fans, which is why, for a very long time, I have said, if you want to DM me, the only way to actually talk to me is to join one of my paid platforms. That's part of why I have the paid platforms. That's part of what gets people in the door and to pay a subscription to support my work. Even if you don't want to buy the PPV stuff, if you want to DM me, you have to be subscribed. And I also say on my paid platforms, like, if you tip me, I'm more likely to respond faster and give you more of my time. This is a simple concept. I don't know why it's hard for people to understand. I don't know why it's hard for the Lone Maverick to understand when I have over 430,000 followers on Instagram. Like, it's crazy for any... can anyone explain this mentality to me? Because look, there are people that I really like, that I'm a fan of, that I follow on Instagram, that I fangirl over. And they have as many or more followers than me. And I would never just go, I'm going to try to DM them. Because for one, I know what it's like to have a large following. And I know for a fact, like, no one in their right mind just has their DMs open. If the DM button even appears for you, they have them filtered. The chance that they'll ever see it is very, very low. And in the rare case that, like, they see it and then you actually get a response, and if it's someone who's, like, really legit famous, it's usually just because they have, like, multiple people they pay to do social media for them. So you're still not talking to the real person. So for me, it was like, once this AI response thing came out, I was like, this actually seems useful. And, like, I'm going to try this out, because the alternative is just continuing to do what I've always done, which is I don't respond to fans ever on IG because I can't have my DMs open. It would be crazy. And so, yeah, that's the first reason why I enabled it, is just because it's practical in my situation. But practicality alone isn't enough. It was also the fact that, like, you can actually fine tune it pretty well. Like, I hate to give Meta any credit for anything they ever do, but in this case, I think it's a useful tool. You get a lot of control over, like, how your bot responds. You can fine tune it. You can train it to have certain responses. It actually is fairly good. Like, if you try to DM me right now on Instagram and it'll say like, hey, this is an AI response. You can ask it questions about me, and it will like, one, this is another thing, actually, just to do an aside within this point, that the bot also makes it very clear when you interact with it, it's not really me. It continually reminds you that it's a bot. If you ask it a question like, what is Siri's favorite, like, what's your favorite color? It will be like, well, Siri likes this. It'll continually refer to the real Siri in like third person, because it's like, reminder, I'm a bot, I'm not her. So to be like, fooled, or to feel like you've been catfished or in some way by the freaking bot in the Instagram chat, you'd have to be really, really significantly stupid. Which is another reason why I feel okay about using it, because it's like, it's not duping anyone. It's very honest about what it is. And here's the other thing, it says, I'm not really Siri. And if you ask it, like, oh, but I really want to actually DM with the real Siri, how can I do that? Is there a way if you ask it, like, can I meet her? It'll go, Siri only DM. It'll say, like, you have to join one of her paid platforms if you want to actually talk to the real her. And if you try to ask it about like how to meet in real life or something, it will, it just won't entertain that as a thing. Cause, well, one, that's like, technically you're asking for something illegal, if you catch my drift. And it will not entertain that. But it's pretty good. Like, the guardrails are pretty solid on it. If you start, it's just like, because it is still AI, it's still trained by a fucking LLM, and then me adding in extra training on like things that I've told it to, say and not say. If you ask it about like general inquiries, like don't ask it for facts about science or anything. It's still trained by an LLM, and it still is going to give you shit that's wrong just as often as like ChatGPT would. I'm moving my whole desk because I'm just trying to scoot my chair away from it. Oh my god, there we go. Y'all seriously need to not ask that question in the chat here or anywhere. I don't have a response. You can, well, here's my one response. If you want to meet me, you can go to a convention. You can go to a thing where I'm there, and I will always advertise in advance. Hey, I'm going to be at X3 in January on these dates at this convention. Like, oh, hey, I'm going to be at AVN on these dates at this convention. Like, that's where you'll have the opportunity to meet me. Oh, weird. Okay. Cool, I guess. My external monitor stopped crapping out. I still don't know what that was. I think it had to be a power supply issue. I think maybe there was like a power surge or something goofy happened. I don't know. We had a random power outage at my house the other day. D. Oh, I'm so happy that you sent a message. You DM'd Messi on Instagram and he asked you for $100. That sounds legit. Yeah. If anyone needs $100, it's definitely Rafael Messi. What's his first name, right? Or did I just make that up? I'm not even a fan of soccer/football. And I think I have his name. Nope, that's... Damn. What is his name? Lionel. Haha. There is another soccer player who's named Raphael Messi. So I technically didn't make it up. I've never done any international expos, no. I've never really traveled internationally for any corn industry related stuff. Yeah, I know I know a lot of people who are still in Berlin who went for that. I don't like, it's not that I don't want to, it's just that I'm not convinced that it's like I'm of the opinion, I'm like, if I'm gonna travel that distance, I want a fucking vacation. And conventions are really expensive. And even though, like, I'm sure some might assume things would be different in my case because I've been in the industry a while and I have, a larger following, but no one flies you out for these things. Like, if I went to Venus, Berlin, or the XBiz Europe thing that's in Amsterdam, they have an award show like XBiz Europa. If I went to any of these, like, I'm paying for all my own shit. It's like no one's just paying for that for you. Some people do get that, I will say, but not me. No one's gonna do that for me. So that's kind of why it's like, it's insanely expensive. There's really no realistic expectation that you would ever make the money back that you spent on the trip, let alone make a profit on it. And so I just have never bothered, because I really truly feel like if I'm going to travel to Europe, I've never been to Berlin. I would love to go, but if and when I go to Berlin, it will be because I'm going for vacation, because I'm going to just experience the city, and it's not going to be for a convention. That being said, like, yeah, plenty of people I think go and they extend their trip, and that way you can at least, like, your airfare and whatnot is like a tax write-off. So that's honestly a wise way to do it. I personally am just like, no, if I'm gonna actually go, I'd rather like not work at all. Like, I don't even want to have the mindset of like being in work mode. I just want to go and just only go as a tourist. I'm sorry, Amelia. I mean, I have heard that it's really fun, so I've also heard about the one in Australia. See, I think Australia might be the rare case where like I would do it. More so just because that's a crazy far away one. And like, I've never been to Australia, but also like if I went and I did like the Sexpo Australia, I would definitely just, and I've always said this about like both Australia and New Zealand, like I've wanted to go to both for a very long time, and if I went, it like, yeah, I would just make it a long trip and do all of the things that I want to do there all at once. I'm a little less like that about Europe or other places, just because, it's not as much of a trek. If I'm staying in the same hemisphere, then I would rather keep the work travel and the personal travel completely separate. You don't see any possible reason to leave the U.S. None whatsoever. Cute. Oh my god. Everyone wants me to go to their parts of Australia. Yeah, what's it called now? I saw someone posting about it the other day, so I saw it, but I don't remember. Yeah, it would be really fun to go. Honestly, I'd be okay with going to Berlin during the not warmest / nicest time. I mean, I live in LA now, and every day is pretty warm and nice for the most part. So you know what I miss? I miss seasons. Like, it rained here for a short amount of time last week, and then it was overcast for the next couple days after that, and I really felt, and it got cooler out. It was in like the low 70s, and it's like, oh my god. it feels like we're having a season, but it'll last for less than a week, and then it goes back to typical LA. Not that I'm complaining. I do like the reliability of the nice weather here. But I do really, really like seasons. So. Tom Kraft. I was like, who's Tom Kraft? Daniel. I do love Costa Rica. Speaking of travel, I've been there a couple times. I'm going to start winding down the stream. We've been going on about 2 hours, and that's about as much as I have tolerance for tonight. It is Sunday, and what that means in my life is I got to go to bed early so I can be functional tomorrow and lift, because tomorrow's Monday, and you know what that means. Squat day. Actually, speaking of squat day, I haven't even looked yet. My coach sent my program for this week, and I'm going to go see what that is. See what fresh torture awaits. What do we have here? Oh, it's not bad at all. I'm in a little bit of a deload phase. For squat and bench, at least. I think I'm creeping back up in my deadlift numbers. But tomorrow won't be too bad. It'll be a fairly chill day. My PR for squats, 95 kilos, I believe. I always have to convert it because 95 kilograms, 2 pounds, 210 pounds, which isn't that much. It'd be honestly it'd be a lot more impressive for me to squat 95 right now because I weigh less. At the time that was my max, I weighed about 90 kilos. So it was barely more than my own body weight. And currently now I weigh 76 kilos. And I'm regular squatting. Tomorrow, my squat program is my top set is 75. So, and that's 75 is easy as hell for me to squat right now for multiple reps. So I've gained I lost a lot of strength because I fucked up my knee. I blew out all the cartilage in my left knee a couple years ago. I had to go to an what's it called, the doctor that does those things, orthopedist. There we go. And they did a scan on my an X-ray and shit, and they were like, "Oh, you have no cartilage in your knee. It's all bruised and dead." So I couldn't really squat for a while. I had to do a bunch of shit to rebuild the cartilage. And then I gained a bunch of weight and lost a bunch of strength. And then the last year and a half, I've just been working on getting my strength back while also rebuilding muscle and, just being able to consistently train without complications, essentially. And things have been going great. So I'm just so fucking happy that I'm squat has weird. I never liked squat before, ever. Ever since I started powerlifting, it's always been the one lift that I'm I do it because I have to, but I don't enjoy it. And now I'm now I actually enjoy it. Amazing. I think part of why I enjoy it now is because I couldn't do it. I just got injured and couldn't really do it for a while, and so now I'm just I'm thankful that I can. So I'm going to make the most of it. The fact that my knee works, that I can do load-bearing movements with a bent knee is great for my mental health. And I would like to retain that ability for as long as possible while I'm alive. So yeah, I think another 95 kilo squat is not too far off into my future. I don't have big goals as far as like being able to squat a certain like big number of weight or whatever. Like, I'm not really like trying to compete or have records in powerlifting. I do it because I like it and it's great for my mental health. And I like being challenged. So like, I mean, yeah, I'll keep piling weight on. I'll keep training. I'm not going to stop, but I'm not aiming for like a certain goal. I could probably lift most of the people that I've performed with, yeah. Not that I actually do lift them, but I could. Are you trying to get larger than 70 kilos, Safa? I mean, that's a lovely, nice weight. Yeah, 70 is around 150. 154.32 pounds. My weight is pretty solidly between 76 and 78 kilos. It fluctuates by a couple depending on time of the month and such. But if I just strike in the middle and say 77, yeah, 169. Nice. And that's kind of been my weight for most of my adult life. Like there have been periods where I weighed, like the heaviest I ever was close to 200 pounds. And I've really never, as an adult, I have never weighed less than 150 pounds as an adult, ever. And when I did weigh, I think the lowest weight I ever was at was like right before I retired from corn for a couple years, like back in like 2014. I was like kind of extreme dieting. It was not super healthy. And I just felt a lot of pressure when I was new to the industry to like lose weight. And so I did. And I didn't. Yes, that would have been 155 pounds ish back then. And what's funny about that is that I don't really look any different. Like if I show you a photo of me in 2014 where I'm like, I know I weighed like 155, I don't look meaningfully any different than I do now, weighing significantly more than that. Yeah, part of that is the way that my body distributes weight. I don't show weight gain that much. Like literally a 50-pound difference in my body does not, to the average person, look like a huge, crazy difference. And I guess I'm fortunate in that sense. Like when I gain or lose weight, it distributes very evenly across my body. I always carry a little more in my hips. Not my waist really, but my hips and like my butt and my thighs. But even that, I'm tall, so it's like it's all very stretched out. Like it doesn't show that much. But I will say when I weighed 155, I felt like shit. Like total shit. So, partly because it was about the weight loss. I had very little muscle mass at that time. I'm also glad we're having this conversation. I'm 5'9". I've been seeing it's somehow become a meme on Instagram a lot lately. That like the girlies on Instagram are talking about the times that men have tried to guess their weight, and apparently like most men can't conceive of a woman that they think is physically like this is the key, that they think is physically attractive and appears in some first impression way to be height weight proportionate by their own judgment. And like the most any dude will ever guess that or think that a woman weighs is 150 pounds. And this has come up so many times. Because that's like, and I just think that's funny. I just think that's really funny because it's like, how do you not understand how this stuff, how do you not understand how it works? Especially when you're talking, when it's like a woman who's tall. Like most women who are, if you're a woman who's like 5'8" or taller, you probably for health reasons should weigh at minimum like 150 pounds. I just feel like if you were to weigh less than that at that height, like that's kind of, you're getting into underweight, potentially malnourished territory. And it's crazy that so many dudes don't understand how weight and height works. Like that, like, oh, this woman looks very thin, but yet she's 5'11". Like, oh, she can't possibly weigh 200 pounds. No, I guarantee you, a woman who looks thin but is 5'11" will weigh easily 200 pounds. But you'll ask any dude on the street, how much do you think she weighs? And they'll be like, 150. And it's very funny to me. It's very funny because it's fucking stupid. That's how I know. I'm like, you don't lift, bro. If you lifted, you'd have a better idea, especially if you lifted in a gym that had women in it. Or if you ever attended as a spectator, like a lifting competition of any sort, because it's all by weight class. And you watch, you see the people who go up in the different weight classes, and you're like, yeah, okay, I know the women in the 90 kilo, which is like usually the top. Usually they don't even class it out above that. It's like in powerlifting, if you're like over 90, you're just, there's one class. It's like super heavyweight. And like, yeah, but it's like all kinds of people can weigh that number and look like all kinds of things. It really depends on your weight and the way your body distributes it and how much muscle mass you have, etc. I don't need to keep harping on about this. I just think it's very funny. Yeah, I also do think a lot of men underestimate. I think a lot of men don't actually understand the fact that like women, because of hormones, have different weight distribution, and so dudes just see someone who appears, conventionally attractive in a certain type of way, in a, height, weight. I hate that term, like height, weight, proportionate, but I'm using it because that's the way men who are idiots in this way would probably describe it. And it's like, I know for a fact that most of the dudes out there would look at me and be like, she can't possibly weigh more than 150. And I'm like, you are, sir, you are about 37 pounds incorrect. Like, no, I do weigh less. Okay. 69. 29 pounds. Oh, that's 19 pounds. Wow, math. Oh my God. Okay. No one clipped that. Jesus Christ. I didn't even know. Well, at one point it was a 37 because I have weighed 187, okay? And 187 on me doesn't really look any different than 169 on me, truly. Very little difference. And mostly it's because the difference in weight, the way that my body distributes weight, my thighs are always thick. They've never not been. And so if I gain or lose like 10, 20 pounds, most of that is just in that area anyway. And the proportions all stay the same. So it all looks the same no matter what. But I really think that a lot of men would look at me and think like, if I told you like right now I weigh what I weigh and then I lost 20 pounds, a lot of men would think, oh my God, like she would look so different. And I'm like, no, I would look functionally the fucking same, truly. The proportions would all be the same. There would be a little less jiggle in some places, and that is it. And it would be such a minor difference in appearance that, like, I guarantee you, most straight men would literally not notice at all. I don't know what WKM means. Do I find it's like a Walkman? I wish I had any. I mean, a couple commenters have mentioned the attempting to gain weight, and you know what? I have no idea what that's like. There's never been a day in my life that I was like, dang, wish I could gain weight. I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism when I was a teenager, and very fortunately for me, it self-corrected once I was out of my teens. I think it was, that has a lot to do with hormone levels and such, but yeah, by the time I was in my early 20s, my thyroid levels were testing as normal without being medicated, which is great. And I got a whole physical recently, and I was actually really not only shocked, but like pretty excited to see that my thyroid hormone levels now are actually on the higher end of normal, again, naturally. And I just attribute that to being like very, very consistent with like diet and exercise, and just in general, I feel like my shit is very balanced hormonally and all that also, which is helpful a lot. Cameron, to answer your question, I mean, I like where I am now. The thing is, for on my body to be 190, that was like the difference in that was like I marginally maybe had, I didn't even think I really had much more muscle mass when I was at that weight. I mean, maybe slightly more, but I didn't get like a fucking DEXA scan when I weighed that, so I don't know definitively. I just think it was probably around the same amount of muscle mass total, and the difference in weight was just body fat. So I prefer myself now because one, I work out a lot. I spend 15 hours a week in the gym, and I like to look leaner because it's not the exclusive reason why I train, but like, I will say, as someone who spends a lot of fucking time in the gym, it does kind of chafe my nuts when people assume that they know more about you because they just have a thinner appearance. And I have encountered this many, many times as a lifter, where someone like comes up and tries to give me fucking like exercise tips, and I'm like, bro, I definitely know more than you. And don't think I don't just because I don't look like I'm a bodybuilder, okay? The reason I don't look like a bodybuilder is because I don't fucking want to look like a bodybuilder. I don't want to be that dedicated to anything in life. And I mean anything. I mean, I'm poly. So yeah. I know I love my thickness. I would never try to actively get rid of my thickness. And also, here's the thing: I won't. Like, it's not. I'm always gonna lift. I love being strong, and I like looking strong within reason. But again, I would never like look like a bodybuilder without having to put in an insane amount of dedication, dieting, and commitment to specifically the goal of looking like a bodybuilder. It would never happen to me on accident. And what I know about training the way that I train is that if anything, like some more body fat gets replaced with some more muscle. But especially when we're talking about thighs and butt area, that's not a bad it's not really going to functionally change the look. Like, it's just things are just going to be more taut, if anything. But there's no getting rid of all the jiggle in my case. That is, I'm pretty certain that that's a scientific impossibility. I feel like this is a good time to end the stream. You know, it's been 2 hours, a little slightly over 2 hours. And this has been very fun. I appreciate that y'all have been around for this whole journey, from cooking show trailers to horrific fascist regime updates to AI bot discourse and talking about lifting, my favorite thing. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I appreciate you being here. Don't forget, if you haven't yet, you can always become a member of my YouTube channel. It is monetized. So there's a little membership tab on my channel. You can be a member. And if you're a member, you get a cute little coffee cup next to your username. And also, if you actually, let me see, is it still, actually, let me check. I think it still is. I think I still have a free trial going on my, I do. Yeah, look at that. There's on my OF. I have a free trial on there. So you can get 1 day free access to my OF. Currently right now, it says there's 14 of those passes left. Only Siri.com. And if you decide you want to renew that after your 1 day trial, it's the typical cost is a $7. So it's pretty cheap. Thank you, everyone. Oh, one last thing I'll say is that the prize money. Ace asked about what's it like to be rich AF after winning the 20K. That money immediately went bye-bye because first of all, this was filmed. The whole cooking show was filmed in March. So and I got the money right after it happened. So I actually got the money in early April. So I got it a while back. And I also almost immediately after doing that show got a bill from the IRS because apparently a couple years ago, my company used to be an LLC and I converted it to an S Corp. And when I converted, a bunch of my shit in QuickBooks got messed up and I didn't catch it. And so I missed 2 quarterly tax payments because of the business conversion and some stuff got mixed up. And I never realized, I had filed for them, but didn't submit the payments. And I thought I had submitted the payments. Stupid error of me to make. But anyway, so I basically got a bill for $20,000 a couple weeks after I won. And so all the shit that I was planning to do with the money never happened because I was just well, it's going to the IRS. So, I mean, still, that worked out great for me, didn't it? But yeah, it didn't end up being money that I got to do anything fun with at all. But it did save me from a lot of potentially some financial stress that I was not planning for. So that's nice. Yeah, I know. R.I.P. me. Wow. It's fine. Yeah, it does. Well, it sucks. I am as a firm and committed leftist. You'll never hear me complaining about paying taxes because I support infrastructure and resources and, you know, public programs. You will, however, hear me complaining about paying taxes that go to support pieces of shit who work for ICE doing illegal shit and like just fucking that's what makes me mad about it. It's not the paying the taxes, it's paying the taxes knowing that the money is going to the worst shit you could possibly fucking imagine. And that sucks. And that's why I hope that this country can get its fucking shit together. Christ on a bike. All right. Fun note to end on. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. I would like to try to make Sunday Streamies a regular thing. My schedule can be unpredictable, so it kind of depends. But for now, let's tentatively say that Sunday Streamies is a regular thing. In the absence of other information. Yeehaw. Have a great evening, everyone. I hope you sleep nice and snug as a bug in a rug when you lay your head on your pillow tonight, and that you are safe and cozy and loved and have the best Monday tomorrow. And if you decide to use one of them free trial links for my OF, come say hi. All right, bye-bye.